Welcome to this update on the coronavirus cases worldwide, and of course, zeroing in the Philippines. Last time that we went online on this was April 23. In this video, we'll talk about the world count, the recovery rate, the situation of the countries all over the world. We will also answer a critical question: is this because of testing? We will talk about the Asia scenario, and we would mention two countries that are having some problems with COVID-19. We'll talk about the Southeast Asian scenario, the Philippine scenario and the recovery rate. Then we'll go over the curve analysis that we've been tracking for, I think, 20, 25 days already. And then finally, we will give a decision on whether we're really flattening the curve based on the long-term scenario, the doubling and tripling rate, the intermediate term, and then the short term. Alright, so let's all go over to the world cases. We have 3.3 million cases worldwide as of 12 o'clock GMT, May 1. That's about 2 hours ago. So 3.3 million cases, 233,000 deaths, 1,039,000 recovered. So in terms of closed cases, 82% is the recovery rate worldwide, and these numbers refer to April 5 data. So that's about uh, 26 days ago. So in 25 days or 26 days, about May 26, we would see the closing of these cases 3.3 million, and with 20% deaths, this could easily go up to 660,000 death cases worldwide. So let's go over to the situation on the other countries. For the world, still US is number one with 1,095,000 cases, but they have 6 million testing. Number two is Spain, Italy, number three, UK, France, Germany, Turkey, Russia, Iran, Brazil, China, very low now in the rating, Canada, Belgium, Netherlands, and the Philippines is over there with 8,488 cases. Now, if you look at the number of testing for the Philippines, is at 104,000 cases. I used to say that this may be due to testing, and of course we ought to test more and all that, but if you look at the number of testing made by US, this number of cases came out. Yes, of course, partly it's because of the number of testing, but is it because of testing? So I'm now having a rethink that even though these people don't get tested, if they have a COVID-19 virus, then they surely will come out as a COVID-19 case, because eventually, if there is a reckoning for all these cases, it will be the death. If this is the standard, we have 1 million cases in the US, and the US is about 3 times larger than us. Then if this is the standard, then our number of cases is 300,000. So that means, does that mean that we should have 300,000 cases now, but we don't have the ample testing? Maybe. But look at the number of deaths, 63,000. We don't have 20,000 deaths, unless you're saying that the government is hiding the bodies, or maybe some of the family members are rotting already in their homes. We don't know about it. I don't think so. So I think that this has something to do with the way we are approaching the ECQ. Yes, there are still some Filipinos who are violating the ECQ requirement of the government, but for the most part, I think the Filipinos are supporting the government in the ECQ, and we are doing good, I think, compared to other countries in stopping the spread of the virus because of what we're doing. So, I really don't believe that the critical factor is the testing. Over in Asia, number one is Turkey, followed by Iran. China is now number three. India is having a hard time. This used to be very low. Now it's at 34,000 cases. Also, I have one more here. The Bangladesh. Bangladesh has 7,000 cases now. Remember when we had only about 2,000 cases, Bangladesh has only 33 cases. I remember this very well because I have a friend from Bangladesh, and I used to chide him saying, hey, you're doing a great job over there. You only have 33 cases. We already have 2,000 cases. Now their cases is up to 7,000, and Bangladesh is just like us. It is a poor country. So goes the same for India with 1 billion people, 34,000 cases now. They have tested 830,000, yielded 34,000 cases. Okay, over at the Philippines, we have 8,488 cases. The total closed cases is about 1,600, and the recovery rate is about 57%. 1,600 is about March 30, so April 30, almost a month before the reckoning. So we are saying that after a month, maybe about June, first week of June, we should close this 8,488 cases. And hopefully the recovery rate goes up to 80%. That means we're still looking at about 20% of 8,500, which is about 1,700 deaths. Okay, let's go over to the curve analysis. Okay, the curve analysis now confirms that there are two um, model curves that still predicts the propagation of the COVID-19 cases with greater than 98% accuracy. This is the quadratic curve and the cubic curve. Quadratic formula, the quadratic curve yields about 98.5% coefficient of determination. On the other hand, cubic has 99.2%. Now going over to the forecast, last April 23, the forecast for May 15, I adjusted this to May 15. The forecast using quadratic is 25,898. Now it's only 18,000. For cubic, it's at 60,000. Now it's only at 11,809. This is the big story for compound growth exponential. If you will look at the curve propagation here, this refers to the wide extremities of the curve over here, somewhere in this area. So really we have to understand that if you are using the compound, the growth and the exponential, this is the growth curve of the virus left by itself. You will not do anything about it. So last April 23, the forecast for May 15 was at 105 million. This is actually overtaking the whole Philippines. Now it's only at 1.5 million. This has now gone down considerably. So we might say that using this scenario, we are already taking care of the propagation of the virus on the long-term perspective. Looking over at the doubling and the tripling rate over here, this side, we can also say that intermediately, we are also stopping the spread of the virus, and that means that the curve is indeed flattening, at least in the intermediate term. Why did I say that? It used to be 16 days for the tripling of the rate, now it's at 28 days. It used to be 13 days for the doubling rate, now it's only 20 days. So we are adding 12 days in just 15 days for the tripling rate and 7 days for the doubling rate. We are saying that by May 15, using this growth pattern, it will take 27 days to double. 27 days, May 15, that's about 12,000 cases by May 15. 12k cases based on this scenario. Now on the tripling rate, we are adding 12 days every 15 days, so this means we will have 40 days of doubling of tripling by May 15. So May 15, if you subtract 40 days, that's April 5. So April 5 is 3,246. 3,246 times 3, so 9,700. So between 9,800, so that's our forecast, 9,800 to 12,000 cases, or maybe about 10,000 to 12,000 cases by May 15. So intermediate term, this also corresponds to our cubic growth pattern. Okay, now the only problem I think that poses a threat for us is the consideration of the individual growth on a day-to-day basis. So what we want to highlight here is that every day we look into the growth of the cases every day. But of course, this will not give you a good picture, so that's why what we did is to do a moving average of 10 days. This used to be 5 days only, but now we want to see a better picture, and we made it 10 days. So if you will look at this, the moving average for 10 days was starting with 8. It increased to a high of 285 in April 6, went down to 268, 245, 253. So long term is really decreasing. But then if you will look at the day-to-day increase, okay, so this is April 30. So by May 1, we will remove the 140 cases, and we will increase it again by another plus 200. So I think this will again move up. But remember that the the, the worst was at 285.7 in April. So I think we're doing a great job in decreasing the, at least in the short term of the curve. Actually, what I'm doing here is to apply the technical analysis of the chart analysis for the stock market in looking at the propagation of the curve and how the curve looks like and how it goes from day to day. Okay, so for the acceleration, this is the second differential. If you know your calculus, the second differential is the difference of the difference. So this pertains to the acceleration. So the acceleration was at 46 in March 31. Decrease, it went very low to negative 41, and now it's at 7.6. So this is already firming up. So in terms of the acceleration, what you can say is that the number of cases is already firming up. It's not going down yet the way we want it to happen, but it's already firming up. So that's the scenario for COVID-19. So in summary, long term, intermediate term, the curve is already flattening. Okay, so the normal curve looks like what was presented by the AI in Singapore. It's flattening. But for the short term, this can only be achieved by looking at by monitoring the day-to-day situation. So this also corresponds to what we're doing over here in the Philippines. Some of the places are now going to be released from the ECQ, and they will go down to a GCQ scenario. So let's look at what will happen to the curve once the other cities, towns, municipalities open for business. If this continues in its downward trend, then by May 15, I can safely say that we have conquered the spreading of the virus, and the new normal is already going to happen. Filipinos are already open-minded, and they know what they're supposed to do: social distancing, wearing of the mask, and avoiding unnecessary travel. When that happens, then yes, it will be strict, but we will be able to make it. So let's hope for the best, and let's continue praying and following what the government is saying. Long live the Philippines. God bless everyone.